Come on, boys.
We're being recorded.
Yes, you are. Good morning.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Okay.
Getting organized?
Well, it may be getting disorganized. I don't know.
You don't want to be disorganized going to
we're,
Switzerland.
we'll do okay.
I will say that's one country I think I would like to have visited.
Yeah.
Not likely to happen now, but
Well, I've been there. Not quite as thorough a visit as this may be. Um, and my heritage is German, bordering on Switzerland, so I should be right at home.
maybe. Well, I have to just be happy with going to China twice.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that puts you ahead of lots and lots of people.
Well, probably where I needed to be.
Yeah,
And I must say, they were amazing trips, and I found the mountains in China and Tibet just amazing.
yeah. Um, no, I've been to China 3 times.
Mm.
And it did not get over to Tibet, but got into the mountains in the west, out near where the Uyghurs are having their difficulties.
Oh yeah, out there. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Um, but I found, I mean, China just fascinating, and the people themselves, let alone the government, the people themselves, very charming and hospitable.
Yeah,
Like,
I found that absolutely to be the case.
yeah,
Uh, I and I dislike the government intensely.
yeah, yeah.
Good morning, Mr. Rosenberg.
Hey,
Hi,
good
Joe.
morning. Hey, Bill.
Hi. You're dark.
I'm dark. Hey, David, am I dark on yours?
Oh,
There you are.
I can see you. It's just your
Oh, lighting, in terms of lighting. I thought
Lighting, yes.
it was
Yeah.
dark, because for a moment it actually was a black screen, but it
oh
came light.
no. It's not a black screen. You haven't disappeared.
That should help a bit.
Yeah, good. So um, Bill, I was thinking, so I don't forget to say this before the end of class.
Yeah.
Since you won't be able to join us the next 2 weeks, if on looking at the videos, if you get a chance to do that, and I recognize you might not, but if you
Mm.
do and you have questions, if you email me, I'll try to answer them in the next
Okay.
class.
I appreciate that. Yes.
So just keep that in mind.
Okay. I will.
Okay. So,
I'm happy this morning.
yes, very. Questions?
Um, Related to what we were talking about last week with the 8 gates and the transition, some of which I was doing wrong. You said in most of them we are leading with the little finger.
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that I was trying to do it correctly
Yeah.
in the intro. So we'll see how that worked out.
Okay. Good. So, in looking at last week's video, which I find it very helpful to have the video to go back and look at afterwards. I know you guys use it too, but it helps me too. My thought was I'd like you each to select which one of the 8 gate postures you have the most difficulty with the elbow movement. Just one, rather than trying to do everything. So, which one do you have the most difficulty with?
Huh.
I would say for me, probably Win Zoom.
Yep.
That would be a good one for me to look at more in depth for sure.
Okay. And Bill?
Probably the same one. Yeah.
I want you to do a different one.
Yeah.
We'll do that one, but I want you to pick another one.
Okay.
Well, I could add in another, unless Bill has one he really likes, which would be the last one, Lake.
The last one would be,
Okay,
Bring them mind quickly too. So
good. So I want to look at that first before we do the 8 gates. Just do look at those two in detail.
okay.
And I suppose what I might say first is it seemed to me that you're definitely moving the elbow, no question. And there is a real apparent emphasis on in and out. I can see that. But what I don't see is the circularity. And admittedly, that's perhaps a little more difficult to find. So let's look at Sung. So actually, maybe I'll do this. I think I'm gonna, not that far, David. So you don't need to see my head in this. So the starting position is here. And notice that it's not here, nor is it here, but it has that slight lift. And the circular movement is in this direction. So if I turn sideways, you're trying to make that circle here more parallel to the front of your body than to going out to the side. So it's coming in, the circle's coming in this way. And I'll stay here for a moment. So as you're coming in and up, notice that the elbow is coming in and down and then back out. And actually, I don't know if this will help or not, but maybe it will. So as you're and I'm exaggerating the size of this. It doesn't need to be this big, but you're coming in and out. So the elbow has a rotate. In this case, has a rotation that goes in and out. So it's going like this, as well as it's actually going kind of on a diagonal. But it's going in, scapula going in, scapula going out. Okay? So if I do that facing you, so you're coming in and going back out. Question? You want to try it?
Yeah.
Probably are already, but so Bill, don't focus on the hands, focus on the elbows. That's better. Do you feel that?
Yes.
So you can let the hands, as you're going in, you can let the elbow push the forearms up a little bit and then down so that you create that circle.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Everything has to curve. No straight lines. Yeah, that looks better to me. Do you feel like you know what you want to be doing?
Yes, it's different than what I've been doing, and it feels natural.
Good. Can you feel your scapula moving?
Yes.
Good. Okay. So Jeff, yeah, come closer to your camera so I can see you better. Yeah. Jeff, you're still making circles going forward. You're allowing the elbows to push the hands forward. The elbows push the hands in and out. Remember, I said the circle goes more or as much as possible parallel to the front of the body. Yeah, that's better. Make it about a third of that size now.
I'm trying to make sure I got the scapula all moving a
Yeah.
lot.
So do you feel you've got the scapula now?
Yes.
Good. Yeah, that looks better. Um, good. So do you feel like you feel better about that? You have a question?
No, I'm clear on the plane that I'm trying to move the hands through instead of going out.
Yeah,
That's
and yeah, You want to try to let the elbows move the hands also, so you don't focus on the hands.
Yeah, yeah.
Good. Okay. So any other questions on that one at the moment? So in in some ways, Dewey is perhaps maybe the most difficult one. Um, because you're in a position where you don't have very much movement. You don't have a lot of movement. Notice that what I'm really trying to accomplish here is a connection between the Laogong point in my palm and the side channel in the body. So you may or may not have that energetic connection, but you can think about that physical connection anyway. And notice that my elbows are lower than the wrist, but my hands are at the middle dantian level. And that's just, that's kind of your starting point. And in this one, your circle is forward. It's going down and in and up and out. So in this one, the elbows are coming in and then going back out. And the hands are going to they're being moved through a very small circle. It's not a big, you're not focusing on the hands moving. You're trying to allow that elbow connection to the scapula, open up the energetic connection from the spine to the fingertips, so that the energy flows in from the fingers to the spine and goes out from the spine to the fingers. And the elbow here, as I hope you can see, is not just moving in and out, but making a circle that's very much like what it's causing the hands to do. So it's coming in as the scapula go in, and the elbows are going out as the scapula goes out. And the hands are moving, of course, in coordination with that. Is there a question about that?
My question is about at the beginning when you mentioned the energetic connection between the Laogongs and the center channels. How are you maintaining that connection the whole rotation?
Yes.
So you can feel you personally can feel the connection through that whole rotation. I'm just wondering what the goal is for us as well.
Well, there are there are several eventually, but yes, I can feel this, and what I'm feeling as I begin to do this is the energy moving down my side channels to the qua and up my side channels to the crown of my head, actually, eventually. And it's also moving in to the center of your body and out to fingertips, toes, and crown of head simultaneously. So Also, there is, of course, the basic one of moving from earth to heaven, and that's happening here. Actually, the energy as you go in is drawing the energy um, from the earth up to the top of your head and sending it down to your feet and back up to the crown of your head. So all of those are going on. You can't focus on all of those at once in the beginning. You have to just choose one, and it could be any one of those if you can feel it. But you focus just on one, and when you have one flowing freely and smoothly and continuously, and you don't have to think about it anymore, then you start working on the next one. And when you have that one smooth and continuous, then you combine them. But you don't try to do it before then.
Right.
Did that may be more than you wanted to know about that, but
Yeah, but more is always okay. That's because when I'm doing this, I cannot get connection between Gong and my channels. I can, however, feel connection when they pass each other roughly. I can feel the connection Gong to Gong. You know, I can feel some energy going across, but I can't really feel that connection to here yet. So I'm wondering if that was something that I should be aspiring for.
well, eventually. But quite frankly, it is much more likely that you can feel the earth to heaven connection at this point, because that's something we've focused on a lot over the years. Or center to periphery. I mean, we've looked at both of those.
Right.
Connecting to the central and side channels is a little more subtle than those, and so it's a little more difficult, but not impossible by any means.
Right. Okay.
So try Dewey, a little bit of Dewey. Bill, that looks pretty good, although what I would say is I think you're now doing more movement of the elbow than you need to do.
Okay.
You can let that be a little smaller.
Okay.
But what was good was that I felt like you were moving from the elbows and not from your hands.
Yes, and that's embarrassing in a way. I mean, I know that, but I realized, as soon as you said that, in all of the postures, I am, the hands have become too important. So,
Yeah. Bill, you're not unusual. We've all gone through that.
yeah.
Um, and I certainly did, maybe a few years ago, but I've done it too. So yeah, that's looking much better. Good. Do you feel the energy moving more fully?
Yes. As usual, when I'm making an adjustment to something physical, I lose track of the energy movement.
Sure.
I can feel it in my torso, certainly, in that posture,
Mm-hmm.
moving
Mm-hmm.
with this range. Maybe not all the way from Earth. Yeah.
Good. Well, that's headway.
Yes.
Good. Let me take a look at. Would you turn and face the camera, Jack? So you are doing what I thought. I like the movement you're doing, except you're doing it at heart level, not at middle dantian level. Which, uh-huh. Good. That's looking pretty good. You feel, is that,
This
you have
one
a,
feels better than Sun does at this point.
uh-huh.
Sun, I need to work on Sun more than this. This one, I feel like I've got the proper movement and rotation, and I've got my scapula involved, and I feel better about this one than Sun. Sun is still a little disjointed for me.
Okay, good.
These helped quite a bit examining these like this. So maybe each class we can look at a couple more.
Yes, that was my intention.
Yeah, this has been very helpful for sure.
Good, good. So think about another one you'd like to work on next time, and Bill, you might drop me a message or an email about which one you'd like to see worked on.
Okay, I will.
Good. So, um, I'm kind of inclined not to go through the 8 gates unless you have a desire to.
Uh,
Are you okay with that, Bill?
I'm okay with that.
Okay,
yep.
good. So, um, I guess I'd just like you to flow up. Let's see, we had gotten through gargoyles.
Yeah.
So I'd like to have you just flow up through gargoyles, and we ought to be able to finish bend and extend today.
Okay.
Yeah, if we can, when we get to gargoyles, if we could just review that for a moment as well, that would be good.
Yeah. Also, um, offering incense, um, unless you're clear on that one. That's one that took me a while to get a handle on.
Yeah, I mean, I feel okay on that one. That doesn't mean I've got it right, but I feel like
Oh, well, that's a good start.
yeah. But whereas gargoyles, I'm still a little bit unclear on the change from bend to extend in that rotation.
Yeah.
Exactly what happens. I'm a little fuzzy on that because I flowed to another one we did a few sessions back, few classes back, and when you and I were together and you went through the whole the whole form, and the way you narrated it then seemed it was a little different, I think, than our last class, or I perceived it different, anyways. So if you could just clarify that, that would be helpful.
And that could just simply be when I said the words too.
exactly how I perceived it. You're right. So
Yep.
that's why I would just like a little clarification on it.
Sure. Sure. Okay. We'll flow up to there and then we'll look at that.
All right.
Okay. I must say that's nice to see. We're definitely making headway, gentlemen. Um, oop, one thing, um, Bill, when you're going into single whip, and it's interesting. The first one was quite a bit better, but then after that, uh, um, not so much better.
Okay.
Um, let's try to do what I think you're kind of doing there. So you're stepping, you're coming in. Most of this seems you're pretty good. And then for some reason, when you go to reset, your hands go down almost to waist level,
Uh,
and then they come up like this, and then finally separate.
yeah.
Um, and so after you've done what follow focus or whatever, and you're going into this, actually, this movement is all pretty much at heart level.
Yep.
And then notice that, yes, there's a little sink there as I reset. But once that foot is down and I'm starting that shift and rotation, the elbows are driving the hands up and out.
Okay.
So they're not coming, you're not leading the hands up and spreading them apart. Um, because,
Same old story, David.
yeah, well, it is kind of, but as I said, the first one was better.
Yeah.
Um, but I think part of the issue is that you're letting the arm, when you reset, you're letting the arms drop too much.
Yes. Yep. And you pointed that out before. Sorry.
No, don't apologize.
Yep.
Believe me.
So Dave, how far do the arms come down? Is it really just to sternum level, basically?
Yeah, it's not that far.
Yeah, I think I've been going below that as well, actually.
Yep, your tendency go a little too low also.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Um, so let's see the other before we get to gargoyles. Um, after we, oh, I know, yeah, it's a little hard for me to tell, Jeff, but I just want to make sure. When you go to do Pung and G, this next one, um,
Yeah.
this is straight to the side. It looked to me like you were going to the back corner.
The first, yeah, I was actually. I was going to the back corner.
Yeah, it's straight to the side.
Okay, can you do that once more?
Sure. So
From
uh,
the chop.
you've gone here,
Yeah.
you go back, and that turns that right foot as you're bending in.
Right.
You shift onto it, step, and then you're going to go into Pung G. And now I'm in a regular bow stance straight to the left side.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I rotated too much.
Yeah.
Yep.
Um, and then when you go back, again, you're going to turn that, and you're bending in, you're turning that left foot to whatever angle you need. And then as you shift forward, that drives the left hand up to a little to deflect, and
Yeah.
the right to go down and you're in sitting on that left foot so you can kick and step back. And as you, that kick obviously is an extension.
Right.
Step back, and the beginning to sink is bending in.
Yeah.
And then as you complete that sink, you're extending out.
Okay.
The hard part from that, in a way, is to sit back on that right foot, turn, and you're bending in, and then as you rotate and sit on that back foot, you're extending out. And they're very small, subtle movements because there's not a big difference between bending into here and extending out to here.
So where did the extend actually begin? Was it as soon as you started rotating right?
Yes.
Okay.
Your transition, well, it's probably as soon as you step back, as soon as that left foot touches,
Yeah.
now you're really starting that triggers, if you will, because it isn't bend stretch, it's bend stretch. They overlap in a way. The transition has to be smooth there, or ideally. So um, um, as you sweep back, you're bending in, and then as soon as that foot touches and you're starting to rotate right, you're extending out, and then you're bending in as you go on back to 100% and continue bending in until you set that right foot, and then as you turn left, you're extending out.
Hmm. I realized where some of my uh, muddiness in this whole thing was is that when I first stepped back with the left, I did then start to rotate right. I continued rotating left for a while before I started turning right.
No,
So
good.
yeah, that's where my problem was. Is I would set the foot, continue rotating left and shifting back, and then start shifting or start rotating right.
Yeah, no, that good. That's a good catch. I hadn't seen that.
Right now, I start rotating right.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's where my problem was.
good. Do you have a question, Bill?
No, but that whole movement has lacked intentionality for me. This was helpful. I mean, I was just the step, the footwork and the arm work were close, but I'm not sure I understood very specifically. So this was helpful.
Yeah. The other thing I think that's important and to be really clear about in gargoyles is you don't step behind yourself in those two.
Yeah.
You obviously do in incense, but not in gargoyles. Okay.
Okay.
Other what,
How far to how
how
far out does the step go on each side in gargoyles? Does the foot?
it goes out to bow stance width.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Other questions? Okay. So stay on camera, David. Uh, Having arrived at the second gargoyles, um, it's really pretty easy going into sweep the lotus because you're simply going to shift forward. And what's really interesting about this now is that with gargoyles you have extended out, and now you have to allow this movement to be a bend. So notice that when I go from gargoyles to preparing for sweep the lotus, I'm not sticking my arms out here. Okay? So I've gone to gargoyles and I shift forward, bending, and then sweep the lotus, and this is a tough one. So you've got from gargoyles, you have the bend as you shift onto the left. You have the extend of the kick bend. I have bent while I'm stepping the right foot to the forward left corner, so that you end up basically in a narrow bow stance to the corner, with the hands just connecting to the back of the side of the neck. And it's an empty step. It's not a loaded step. So that as you shift forward, the arms stroke down and out. So from the kick, you're bending to here and extending to here.
So David, back to the actual sweep the lotus kick.
Yeah.
So you're bending in as you stretch, as you shift forward. When you actually sweep the lotus, do the arms go out a little bit to do so at that point?
Yes.
Okay. I wasn't sure if they stayed in there sort of bent in or if they stretched out to sweep and then went back in.
Nope. So you're bending, you get onto that left foot,
Yeah.
and then they extend, but they bend immediately
Right. Okay.
because you have that turn and step to the corner.
So the arms and that right leg all extend simultaneously and then bend back in together.
Yes.
Okay.
And then as you go forward here,
Right.
that extends.
Okay.
And the notice here that the hands and the arms actually, again, of course, driven by the elbows, are rotating all the way through that movement. And so this movement is this. And you have to be careful here that you don't over push the elbows. So you want to keep the shoulders relaxed, but the elbows do twist and rotate the arms forward. So
It
if
seems
I,
like a bigger scapular movement than most anywhere else in the form.
I beg your pardon?
And it seems like the scapula are actually moving and rotating there in that particular posture more so than they are anywhere else in the form that I can think of.
Um,
Or maybe I'm just
I wouldn't say more. I would say as much perhaps as anywhere else, but not more.
All right. I was overdoing it then because I feel like they're really rotating and rounding.
If you're doing this,
Yeah.
That's too much. Because that's too much, yes.
All right.
But what you're doing is here, not here.
Okay. Got it.
Any question there, Bill?
I don't think so.
Okay. So when you get to this is the corner, David. Um, when you've gotten to here, you're going to begin turning left so that you have the curve of that transition. Don't you want to round your corner? So you're turning, shifting back, bending in until you get onto the left foot, and then it's a shift forward as you extend, shooting the tiger. So you've done this push down. By the way, this is a Chen style movement. This is a Chen posture that's in here. Um, Thank you, Master Wu. Um, and then you turn. These go through an arc coming up. And the difficulty here is that one tends to take the right hand across the center line of the body. It just comes to the center line of the body. And then they both separate. Not to here, 70%. Okay?
Is your right hand higher?
No, they're
All
the
right.
same height.
Okay. From this angle, it looked like it's higher.
Uh-uh.
Wait a second. I mean, your left hand looks like it's higher.
Oh, uh, I'm trying to make myself do this on an angle. I can't. Anyway, so you can see. No, they should be about the same height.
Okay.
They're here, actually here, about the same height. And then as you shift forward, they pull apart, but they don't change height.
Okay. And your right hand does not cross your center line?
Nope.
You do it one more time from facing this direction. Yeah. Yeah. From there.
So you're here, you're turning, they come up. Notice that this is not past the center line. I'm right on the center line.
All right.
And then shift. And actually, it doesn't go to the right of the center line very far because there isn't very far to go.
Right.
But they are on about the same height. Okay?
And you're bending all the way up until you shift.
So you're extended here, bend, extend.
Got it.
Make sure you keep the right elbow down. This is one place where the elbow obviously is above a 45-degree angle, but it can still be down. No, not here, here. Okay? So you've gotten to here, shoot the tiger. You're rotating right, shifting back as you bend in, and then you shift forward, and this is a continuing to bend as you connect to the kidneys As you're stepping to the left side, you're stroking the kidneys. The back of the hands is stroking the kidneys. But you're an empty step at this point, and you should be in a reasonable bow stance here. And then as you shift forward into double cannon punch, or double kidney punch if you like, this is an extension, but it's not out here, but here.
David, as you extend into that, and your scapular are separating a bit, are your arms then both turning slightly inward for the punch?
No.
They're not turning at all?
Not, from this point, they twisted into here. They actually start the twist out here
Okay.
on the step, but as you go forward, okay,
That's the part I'm asking about, is as you go forward.
okay. So you're actually twisting out, but you're not turning out. So do you understand the distinction here?
Are the hands turning at all in either direction?
Not during that shift.
So
So
start to here, and then during the shift.
I didn't hear you there, Jeff.
So as they stroke the kidneys to here, they're actually turning out. I'm overdoing it, but they're actually turning out to here. And then as you shift forward, they're not turning at all.
They're not turning, they're twisting. So,
And are you speaking?
what?
Twisting in terms of energetically?
No, the soft tissues are twisting around the bones. That you don't remember about twisting?
I do, but I'm not sure why that would not in turn, in this particular instance, why it would not in turn actually move the hands as well. So if that's the way we want everything to be moving.
It doesn't have to turn the hands.
I know it doesn't have to, but I'm wondering why it wouldn't. That's my is why if this is an outward motion, both physically and energetically, why would not it extend all the way to where you meet your opponent?
But they are extending forward, but they don't have to turn, because the twisting will release the energy along the yang surfaces of your body and through the yang fascia of your body to the hands.
Okay.
So we're talking, see, the problem here is that in the Wu style, because we are beginning to move into much more advanced Tai Chi application, you don't always have a physical turning left and right, but there is always twisting going on.
Okay.
So we've moved past the need that we had in the Yang style for there to always be a physical turning. Now we've moved into more energetic and more internal movements where you don't always have a physical turning when there is an outward twisting and extension of the energy.
Right. Okay. That's the answer to my question then. Is that I sometimes look for it in all spots, and I don't need to look for it in all spots.
No, what we really need to look, and the next thing we're going to do is look at twisting.
Right.
And twisting is really an extremely important element. I mean, the bending and extending they're all important, but the twisting is particularly important because it is in a way one of the first steps to really not simply feeling the movement of the energy, but of being able to direct the movement of the energy.
Mm. Okay.
Okay.
Yep. All right.
Is that too much?
Good. And it reminds me that I definitely need to look at re-examine twisting and re-understand it again because it has been a long time.
Yeah, right. I'll
So,
send you I'll send out some twisting information too,
okay.
because you may still have it in your file, but you may not.
Yeah, it has been a while, so that would be good.
Yeah. So we really just have two more pieces here to this. We have play pipa and close. So I'm going to turn this because otherwise you're not going to be able to see what I'm doing. So we've gotten to double cannon punch. We're in a bow stance facing the left side. We begin to bend as we shift onto the left. We're going to rotate on that left quad and reset the right foot on a shallow angle, past 45 degrees, but a shallow angle. And then we're going to bring the weight back, still bending in onto that right foot. And when you come to 100%, that allows the left to rotate into your cat stance. And then you're going to open and extend into play pipa. So remember this in the Yang style, play pipa was here. We twisted in this way. Here, when you open, the palms turn facing down. They're doing actually the same thing in terms of application, but just the possibility of another angle. So from double cannon punch, you shift forward, rotate and step. You're bending in all this time. Touch and open, extend to play pipa. And then you're going to bend and turn. You're going to turn your left foot to straight ahead here and sink. And then as you rise, you're going to use that rise in two ways. One is to straighten that right foot into your feet together stance, and it's going the bend from not the bend, the extend from here is going to go up, and it only goes up as long as you're rising. And then you can let the hands relax in to our basic connection of the Lao Gong points at the Dantian. So you have double cannon punch, shift forward, bend, reset, still bending, touch, extend, bend, extend, close.
David, in play peepaw, the left foot, are you just touching the ball of the foot? You're not touching the
Yes.
whole foot?
Yes.
Okay.
David, I'm out of time here.
Ah,
Sorry. Yeah,
oh,
I'm gonna duck out. I will watch the end of this, obviously.
okay. Well, have a great trip,
Yep, thank you.
and we'll look forward to seeing you when you get back.
Yep, okay.
All
See you.
right.
Yep,
Bye.
bye.
So, yeah, to answer your question, Jeff. So you're here, yeah, bend, still bending, touch, and it is a cat stance. So you're 100% on the right. The left is just the ball of the foot, and then extend.
On that extend, on that extend, is there any rise in the stance?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, it looked like it. But
It's, you know, it's it's really an opening, not a rising.
right. The rising is just a little bit of incidental rising, it felt like.
Yeah, it's just that if there is a little rise, it's not that you're trying to rise.
Right.
Is it the opening of all the joints in the body is causing you to rise slightly?
Okay.
Yeah. Do you have other questions there?
Um, no, except that you did clarify something else I was doing wrong, which was the initial foot for the cat stance. I was actually placing that straight ahead instead of like this. So I was not having to readjust it when I came back into closing.
Uh-huh.
I never realized that was wrong directionally either. So this was a good review for that.
Yeah. Well, that's what this is all about.
Yeah. Yeah.
So why don't we go back um, and flow together
Uh,
from from the punch down?
okay.
So you've gone to the punch down, but now we get to the right place here. Okay. So coming up, bending, hide the fist, turn, up, extend, back, bending, step to the side, hung, G, back, turn the left foot, bending in, extend, bend, extend, pick up your bow, bending,
Well,
extend,
gargoyle.
what?
Gargoyle.
Oh,
Let's go
wrong kick, David.
from here again.
That was weird. Okay. Uh, sorry about that.
Oh,
So back to
yep.
hung and G.
Okay.
Bending in, shift forward,
Yep.
extend, bend, extend, Shifting back, bending in, step, extend, bend, step, extend, bend, shift forward, extend, and bend, extend, stroke the long beard, bend, pick up the bow, extend, shoot the tiger. Bend, turning forward, release the fist. Shift, fist to the kidneys, stroke, extend. Shift forward, release, and bend. Reset the right, continuing to bend until you touch the toe. Play peepaw. Bend, sinking in, extend, and release to close. Questions?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Would you try it? Would you do that section? I'm going to stop you right there because your left knee is way too far forward.
At what point? When I'm going down?
When you clear down, your knee should not be further forward than the tip of your toe. So that may limit how far down you go. It's okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Good. So remember not to let the arms rise after your body stops rising there, wherever that may be. Some days it's more than others. It's not always the same.
How did gargoyles look to you? Because I'm still
I
trying to adjust to that change.
I felt like you are shifting the weight too far back in gargoyles, but
Hmm.
it's a little hard for me to tell. Remember, I said that you are back weighted, but you're not 100%.
Ah, I am too far back. Then you're right.
Yeah, just
Oh yeah. So this is about 60-40.
yeah, about right.
Yes, basically.
Yeah,
That's significant. Something didn't feel right in
yep.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
That's a big difference.
Yeah. Good. That definitely looked better.
Yeah, it felt better too. That was a big difference. Was I was going pretty much 100% all the way back
Yeah.
on gargoyles.
Yeah. So it's yeah, good. I'm glad to get to the end there.
Yeah, no, that we're answering a lot of little questions along the way too that I didn't even know existed. So
Yeah.
it's
Well,
very, very
that's part of what you mean to do.
right.
Um, and when we go through again with twisting and
Right.
anything else we get to, that'll answer some more.
Okay. Are we starting with the twisting next week?
Why not?
Okay. I just didn't know if you were going to wait till Bill was back around or just let him watch what we do.
Um, no, that's not my.
Okay.
Well, I don't have any uh, time in mind. I'm not going to be teaching forever.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of feeling like we should keep going while I feel like going.
Okay. So
Um,
I think I'm here in Florida for 2 more weeks and then up there. Um, we get there on the 4th. I think that's a Wednesday. So I would be coming to class the following Tuesday, the 4th, the 10th, maybe
um,
October 10th.
if if I can get to my calendar, I'll tell you. um,
Maybe I'm here for 3 more weeks. Maybe that's what it is. I think I'm here for 3 more weeks. Yeah.
yep,
And then I think it's October 10th that I will be there.
yep. The 10th would be that Tuesday. Yeah.
And then what I also wanted to mention you is after we're going to be in Connecticut for a week, and then after that, we leave Connecticut on, I think it's Thursday, maybe it's Wednesday or Thursday, but we are in Vermont for the rest of our trip until we leave. So
Oh,
I'm not going to be there for the workshop, unfortunately, on that